Guys, picking up after we've gone through the first six trumpets, and we saw how it's taken us from the ripping apart of Eastern Rome. Well, started with the first four trumpets ripped apart Western Rome. The fifth and sixth trumpets ripped apart Eastern Rome, and the seventh trumpet is what rips apart the entire world. Okay, now we're gonna start up here in Revelation 10. And as we're reading this, we're going to remember that the sixth trumpet ended August 11th, 1840. Now, if that's correct, then the seventh trumpet would start to sound shortly after. And by reading this, we're going to see that the seventh trumpet started blowing in 1844. Okay. Now, I got to verify all this, but I'm just going to tell you how I understand this, and then we're going to verify it later, and we're going to research this to see if we're actually correct on this. This is what makes a lot of sense to me. All right, Revelation 10, verse 1. And I saw a mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. Okay? And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth. Now it's kind of interesting here in Revelation. Anytime when we see the sea and the earth, we know that the sea beast is the papacy, and the earth beast is Protestantism, specifically here in the United States. So I don't know if that plays into that or not. But notice how he's got a little book that's open. It mentions that the little book is open in his hand. And this must obviously mean that the book was closed, but now it's open. And we know that the book of Daniel was opened in 1798. So this must be taking us to the period of 1798 when the book of Daniel was unsealed. It was mainly the parts in Daniel that covered the 2300-day prophecy that was sealed up. So then this would be taking us to around 1798. And let's continue on, verse 3. And he cried with a loud voice as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, seven thunders uttered their voices. Now remember when we talked about when the lion roars? When the lion of the tribe of Judah roars, that means that somebody on the earth is prophesying. Okay, we're going to come to that, and that's the seven thunders. And remember, as we look at this, that seven... prophetically, when we see in the book of Revelation that all the numbers are symbols, and seven is a symbol for God's completeness or his totality. Think about it like the seven last plagues. It's his full wrath is poured out to the world. Seven just means that it's his full maximum wrath. Just like Nebuchadnezzar heated the fire 7 times for the 3 Hebrew boys, it just meant that he heated it to its full maximum measure. Okay? Now let's remember that as we're going through this. And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and write them not. Now he's telling this to John, okay, to seal them up, not to write them, okay? And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted his hand to heaven, okay, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that there are in, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. Now we know that's bringing us to the prophetic time of October 22nd, 1844. That was the ending of time. There was no more prophetic time after 1844. Okay? So that's bringing us right there. Okay? In the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets. Now, you guys, I think this has got to be talking about Ellen White. Think about this. The book was open in 1798, okay? And then we know that it was completely finished and unsealed by 1843 in other places that we've looked. And then 1844 is when prophetic time ended. There's no more prophetic time after October 22nd, 1844. But what happened 2 months after October 22nd, 1844. In December is when God called Ellen White to the office of the prophet. She was made a prophet. She was given almost 2,000 visions, and she's like the fourth most written and translated author in the history of the world. You guys, this seventh angel, this has got to be Ellen White. I was thinking about this. The mystery of God should be finished, as he has declared to his servants, the prophets. Well, that's Ellen White, you guys. And that happened just after October 22nd, 1844. It fits perfectly, doesn't it? Now, we need to verify this and go through the writings of Ellen White and see if this all makes sense. But this is the only thing that makes sense to me so far. I mean, somewhere in the prophecies, Ellen White has got to be spoken of. I mean, she's the end time prophet. She was given more to write than any other Bible person in the history of the world. I mean, this is very significant. Okay, let's continue. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. Now, I believe this is William Miller was the first one to eat the book. He was the one that was studying. To eat it just means to read the Bible, to read the prophecies, to assimilate them, to think about them, and then God will give understanding to them. And William Miller was the guy that was doing this. I believe he was the first one. And then more, as he started teaching, more people jumped on. Uriah Smith and some other people. Verse 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it. That just means take it and read it. Okay? And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. This is where they get the judgment hour message that they proclaimed. Now the great disappointment. Think about this, guys. It was. Let's see what it says there. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Coming out of their mouth as the message they were proclaiming about the 1843 judgment that Jesus was coming. It was sweet to proclaim out of their mouth like honey. But after the experience, when they found out that they were wrong, it was a bitter experience. This is talking about the great disappointment of 1843 and 1844. Now they were right about the event or the time. They were just wrong about what happened. They didn't realize that they thought Jesus was coming to the earth. They didn't realize that he was actually coming to his Father to receive the kingdom. That's when judgment started in 1844. Okay, but that's what that's talking about right there. That's the Millerite Movement that happened on the earth. All right, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. As they proclaimed it out of their mouth, it was a sweet message, okay? But as soon as I had eaten it, my belly became bitter. Once the time came and they realized that they were wrong, or they thought they were wrong, it was a very bitter experience. They were made fun of. People were making fun of them. They were all very sad, and I mean, it was probably a very depressing time and a very sad time. And many people fell away from the movement. God used this to what do you call that when you drop people off a movement? To siphon. He sifted the church is what he did through this. And he kept, and only the ones that truly wanted God's truth are the ones that went back to the Bible and studied to find out, the mistake that they had made. Okay. In the last verse, he said, And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. Well, that's got to be Ellen White too. That's what I'm thinking, to prophesy again. Okay, because that happened, like I said, 2 months after this experience, after the 1844 judgment in October 22nd. That's when Ellen White was called to be a prophet. So these 7 thunders that are happening at the beginning, when the mystery of God is finished, okay, the only thing I can think of, this has got to be the ministry of Ellen White. It's the only thing that fits. And it says it right here. If we look, there shall be time no longer. The mystery of God shall be finished. as he has declared to his servants the prophets. It's telling us right there. It's Ellen White. So tell me what you guys think, but I got to research this more, and I got to go through the writings and find out about this. But the only thing that makes sense to me is that this is Ellen White, and this fits the time period of after 1844. She was called to be a prophet up into the year 1915, okay? And it's been 105 years since then. But I mean, she's written hundreds of books and millions of words and articles, and she was given like 2,000 visions almost, and it fits it perfectly. And I can't believe no one else is talking about this, and I can't figure out why, because it fits perfectly. It's the only thing that makes sense, actually. So tell me what you guys think, if I missed anything, or if there's more things I need to know. But we're going to research this further, and we're going to go through and we're going to find out exactly if this is true or not. We're going to verify in God's word. So we're going to look everywhere we can. All right, so that's it for this video, guys. I will be back in talking about more Revelation in the next video. Thank you, guys. God bless.